Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 66. Today is June 4th in the big 26. Welcome to Swiss Army Sports. I am your host, Will Spain, former long snapper for the Super Troy Trojans, Osby Governors, and partially Houston Cougars, joined by my side, former offensive lineman for the Hendrix College Warriors, current man of electricity, Luke the Nuke Wallman, and joined virtually from Atlanta, Georgia. Former kicker for the Houston Christian Huskies and former kicker for the Troy Trojans, current nephew of Georgia Tech men's basketball coach Scott Cross. Chase Cross. Again, today is episode 66. We get a little Palpatine from the prequels, looking at our episode number there. Thought the boys would appreciate that. We're all Star Wars nerds. Pretty short episode today. In terms of agenda, who knows how long it'll take as soon as we start getting rolling. But Cooler Bull as we start every episode now. NBA Finals talk after Game 1. The Knicks are up 1-0. NHL Stanley Cup Final talk. The Golden Knights steal Game 1 on the road. Both road teams in both finals stealing a game on the road in Game 1. Game 2 going on right now between Vegas and Carolina. Vegas up 1-0 after the first period. We then break down the FIFA World Cup group stage. We have our group stage preview. I know Chaser is super stoked for that one. NASCAR picks, we head to Michigan, just the trucks and the Cup Series this weekend, and then hot and not. We thought about putting the UFC Bilal fight on there, but then it's Bilal, and obviously, anything Bilal related in the UFC, we try to stay away from because he is a cancer. Cooler Bull. Rory McIlroy is not a top 5 golfer in the world currently. And this stems from just this is 2026, and this stems from, man, I'm a Rory hater, but I was like, how can I phrase this to where I think it is truly and wholly accurate? I think if you were to ask the average person, name the top 5 golfers in the world right now, Rory would be pretty synonymously up there, and he's number 2 in the world rankings. But let's take a look at the FedEx Cup standings right now, and I mean he is not in the top 5. He currently sits in 10th. I believe that is 9th. Yep, 9th. One, he hasn't really played that much this year, which I have a problem with. He has his one win in 2026, which he was at the Masters, but he played Augusta for 3 weeks prior to winning that tournament. He has made 7 out of 7 cuts in his 7 events. I'd be willing to list them to you. In terms of current form, I think Cameron Young is playing better than Rory McIlroy in 2026. Obviously, Scottie Scheffler is the unanimous number 1. I think Matt Fitzpatrick's playing better than Rory McIlroy right now. I think Tommy Fleetwood's playing better. I think Ludwig Oberg and Siwoo Kim are playing better. And I mean, even I would go ahead and say a guy like, maybe Chris Goddard in his current form on a week-in, week-out basis is playing better than Rory McIlroy. He only shows up for these majors. He's getting older, so maybe it's like a duration thing for the season, but I don't think he's going to contend for the FedEx Cup, and I think it would be unfair to call him a current, as it stands, top 5 golfer in the world. Cooler Bull, Luke, then Chase.
I'm split because I think it's cool because he does not play, and currently in the golf world, you have to play tournaments to be considered to be in the top 5. I still think he's a top 5 golfer, but currently, kind of the logic with the playing, I do think there are 5 guys better than him because, I mean, he's got the Masters win, but really hadn't done anything else. So I'm going to go cool on here because I also do not really like Rory. So,
Chase, what do you think?
This is a load of bull. I mean, this is a complete bullshit take. I'm sorry to say it. I mean, he just won. I mean, we're 2 months removed from him winning the biggest tournament in all of golf. I understand he has not played a ton, but he shows up in the big moments.
Preparing for this tournament. If
it doesn't matter, you still have to go out there and win it. It's so hard to win. There are so many.
3 weeks in Augusta, he would have won the damn match. I mean, it's such an unfair advantage to even pull that stat.
I'm just saying he won the most important tournament.
Which is another weekend for him.
and he showed up when it counted. I mean, Scotty was pressing him at the end of that tournament. I mean, everybody was coming for him, and he was able to come out and win after a poor Saturday. So, I mean, I still think he's a top 5 golfer in the world. He's won back-to-back Masters. I mean, there's only, I think, 5 total golfers who can say that they've done that all time. If you won back-to-back Masters, I don't care if you're playing in, the Valero Texas Open, or another PGA Tour event in North Carolina. Like that doesn't matter as much as the Masters. Granted, his PGA championship was not as ideal, but he still made the cut. Still played a good round of golf on a tough course. So I mean, I think this is complete bull. You're talking about a guy that's won back-to-back Masters. I mean, how can he not be top 5? A lot of people would make the argument that he's number 2 right behind Scotty Scheffler right now.
Fair enough. I just thought that would be. I was trying to come up with the spiciest thing I could think of today, and I think that was it. That crossed my mind. Luke, Cooler Bull, what do you got for us?
Nothing on my screen.
Yep, I've got to click it. I'm used to. Hey, shout out the producer, man. I'm used to him being here now.
Christian Watson's agent deserves an award.
This was that close to me. This close, I was like, someone else is going to do this.
Because, I mean, the absolute fact, he got $110 million.
Yeah.
I don't think he's eclipsed 800 yards in a season. Like, the fact that they paid him.
Been injured.
Yeah, and he's been injury prone. I mean, the fact they paid him that much for a pretty below average receiver is absolutely insane. He's got drop issues too. I mean, he's not a good wide receiver. And like Packer fans, which is always great, are just losing their shit on Twitter because they literally shelled out so much money towards him where you could have traded for someone who makes way less money and who is pretty much better because like Christian Watson doesn't stay on the field. He doesn't catch footballs and he's
It's a
just not a good
complete
wide
waste
receiver.
of salary cap.
Huh?
Complete waste of salary.
Think
cap.
about this too. All their money's tied up in Micah Parsons, Jordan Love,
Sorry.
and
We'll
now
let you
Christian
finish. We gotta
Watson.
go Cooler Bull.
Oh,
I was
no,
on
I'm
me
good.
for interrupting
Cool.
you.
I'm done.
No, yeah, that's 100% cool. I mean, it's a complete waste of calories, cap space. I mean, he Christian Watson with $110 million, guys on a contract. When I'm trying to list the top 20 wide receivers in the NFL, Christian Watson would never once come across my mind. I would like for someone,
Maybe not even top 40.
I would like for Luke to do a little quick research here. Is he a top 20 paid wide receiver right now because of this?
I don't know if it's updated or not.
Let's pull up this contract real quick, and I'm gonna let you know what his average per year is, because that's what you got to go off of, not the total number. 110.5 million for a year. Let me do the math on that. That's a 27.6 a year. So yeah, he is in the top 20. He's in the top 20 of being paid.
Hold on,
He's
I'm
getting paid
pulling
more
it
than
up right
George.
now.
He's getting paid more than Devontae Smith, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Jacoby Myers,
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams, all the guys that I consider much better than Christian Watson. This is complete cool. This is an awesome take. I wholeheartedly agree with it. Chase, what do you think?
Complete cool. The agent, I mean, he did absolutely an incredible job. I mean, like you guys said, he's getting paid on par with Tyreek Hill, Jameson Williams, Jalen Waddle, more than Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, DJ Moore. I mean, these are guys that are Pro Bowlers, the elite of the elite. Like and we thought Tyreek Hill's contract was massive when he signed it in Miami, and now Christian Watson, who's done nothing, is getting paid that. I think this is a completely cool take. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm absolutely livid because now you're coming around and looking at this, and it's like, man, all our money's tied up in Micah Parsons, Jordan Love, and now Christian Watson. Watson hasn't even been on the field. Micah Parsons was good, but I mean, you're not going to be able to resign anybody. Like all their draft picks that they got, like Matthew Golden last year, another wide receiver that they're hoping is going to make a leap this year. I mean, all your money's tied up in Christian Watson. How are you going to go pay another wide receiver? So I think this is bad business. I think they could have gotten a wide receiver of Watson's caliber. 1 in the draft, 2, I'm sure free agency. Like they could have gotten out and gotten somebody. I think this is just really poor mismanagement on behalf of the Packers.
100%. Chase, what is your take?
My take is that I kind of went with the soccer one since this is a soccer episode. I think that the U.S. men's national team will make the quarters of the World Cup. We have not made the quarters since 2002. I want to preface that. We have not won a knockout stage game since 2002. But this year we have a really favorable path. Our group is relatively easy, minus Turkey. Then, if we win our group, we get a team like Bosnia. We lose it, I think we get somebody a little bit tougher, but I think it's going to be a second place team from another group, so somebody that would be on our caliber. And then you just have to beat a solid team, either Belgium or somebody along the lines of that to make the quarterfinals. I think it's completely doable. I think this is very much achievable and should be the goal. And anything less than this is considered a failure. But a lot of the rest of the world disagrees with this take, so I want to hear y'all's thoughts.
And let me make sure that I'm completely cool with this first.
I will go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm cool because the USA is the greatest country on earth, and maybe
Yep.
we'll actually win something for once in soccer instead of just being the Texas of the soccer world.
The Texas
Hey.
of the soccer world.
Hey.
I love that. Yeah, it would be hypothetically we'd play Belgium. I think this is a weaker Belgium team
Yep.
in the World Cup. I'm going to go completely cool on this, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see the United States in the semifinals on home soil. This team looks really good against a formidable Senegal side.
We'll have to see how they play against Germany.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll have to see how they play against the Germans this weekend as this team becomes now more in form and used to working together. I think we're poised to make a run, boys. I really do. I do
too.
think it is partially because of what side of the bracket we're on. Is how the path is laid out for the U.S. But I think this is a very talented, very young, very hungry U.S. squad that's going to want to show out for their home nation as they're hosting a World Cup. And we know that these nations that host they do typically get a boost in terms of production. So I am completely cool on this take. It is a good one for me for sure. NBA Finals occurred last night. The San Antonio Spurs were looking pretty good until Jalen Brunson decided to wake up for the New York Knicks. The Knicks won 105-95. It was a lower scoring game. The 91% of the public was on the over. However, as you know, Vegas always wins. It went under. Brunson with 30 points. Josh Hart, he did not score like at all, pretty much, but he had 15 rebounds and 6 assists for huge production for New York. Wembanyama went 26 and 12 in terms of points and rebounds. De'Aaron Fox with 5 assists. One player I really want to highlight out, guys, for the New York Knicks is Landry Shamet. He got 33 minutes last night with 13 points. And they were very timely points for the New York Knicks. I think Shamet, especially as a role player, showed up in a very big role for New York, as did OG Anunoby. He came up in clutch time and free throws, hit some big shots down the stretch, especially those back-to-back threes. The role players, the not necessarily the superstars like Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson came and showed out for New York and stole this game right under San Antonio's feet. And I think Wemby honestly has to play a bigger role. A lot of those points he got were from the free throw line. And I think he was not as much an offensive impact as I thought he was going to be in this first game. And all credit to New York. I still think San Antonio wins. I think they will be able to recuperate after this game one loss. But all credit to New York. It's going to be a hell of a series. Luke and Chase, what did y'all take away from game one of the NBA Finals?
Yeah, Wemby has got to shoot the ball better because his shooting percentages were terrible. And same with Vassell. I think Vassell, or is either it wasn't Castle, it was Vassell. Vassell shot extremely poor. They had
4 for 11 for the field.
And Fox. Those two shot terribly because you have to have them two, and then also 2 of the 3 with Johnson, Harper, and Castle all play well in order for them to win. Because Wemby is going to do a lot, but they have to have people step up as well. And if you're going to have Fox and Vassell do that, they are not going to win a game. But Wemby does have to shoot better. Also, Brunson has to shoot better. Brunson shot a god-awful percentage in this game. So it should be a very good series. I'm excited for the next game.
Chase, what did you take away from game one?
Well, honestly, I thought the Spurs just looked a little run down. You could tell that the effects from the last series in just that game 7 hadn't completely worn off yet. The Knicks were clearly the
Chase, we lost you, brother.
Brutal.
Yeah, he's got to leave and come back to give his take.
We're just having such great luck with his mic lately.
Yeah, man. The mic looks great.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. But it is just randomly disconnecting. Um, he's shaking his head. I love it. Vegas has gone up 2-0 on Carolina, by the way, here in game two. They are being outshot 12-7. It has been not a great performance. Oh, we got him back. All right. Let's hear this take on game
There
one
we
of
go.
the NBA Finals chaser.
All right. Well, my kind of assessment of game one, I thought that the Spurs looked a little sluggish in this game. Just coming off of that game seven win against the Thunder, you could tell how much emotion was poured in that series, and the Knicks are obviously the more well rested team, having over a week to rest before this matchup, and you could tell that they had the Spurs scouted pretty well. Caused a lot of problems for Wembanyama and the shooters. That being said, I thought the Spurs, handled it pretty well. I do think the Spurs will probably win the second game at home, and going back to New York, it'll be a 1-1 series tie, which it could be really interesting. However, I will say Jalen Brunson did not play well until the very end of the game, but he absolutely turned it on in that fourth quarter. Landry Shamet has been fantastic the entire playoffs for the Knicks. And then on top of that, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns didn't play his best, but OG Anunoby was absolutely fantastic as well. I didn't really pick out anybody besides Castle for the Spurs. I thought Wemby shot it really poorly. I think, the Spurs have had a little issues getting Wemby some good looks against the Knicks. Knicks have played really good defense on him, and then you gotta have guys like when Wemby's off, you gotta have guys like Vassell step up, and that just didn't happen. But I do think the Spurs win the second game two of the series. They're at home in San Antonio and send it back as a series tie going in New York.
There we go. Now we move on to the hockey side of the finals. Vegas got a thrilling game one win against Carolina, 5-4. It was back and forth. Went 2-0 Carolina, 3-2 Vegas, 3-3, 4-3, 4-4, and then Vegas edges it out 5-4. As we look at the box score, the goal scorers for Vegas were Ivan Barbashev, Tomas Hurdle, Brett Howden, William Karlsson, and Shea Theodore. For Carolina, Nikolai Ehlers netted 2. Jordan Stahl got himself 1, and Shane Gostisbehere got himself 1 as well. Goalie performances definitely were not there. Freddie Anderson only saved 18 shots on 23 shot attempts at a 7.83 save percentage. Carter Hart, better for sure, but not his best performance at an 8.62 save percentage, saving 25 on 29. Again, Vegas is up 2-0 right now in game two. Carolina is in deep trouble here. They should be the more well-rested team. And it's not showing at all. And Vegas is continuing their hot streak, as Michael and Chase foretold. I mean, they kind of saw this coming. If Carolina can eke this one out, I'm still confident in the Hurricanes to win the series. However, you go down 2-0, head back to Vegas, I'm truly concerned we're going to see another Cup head to Las Vegas. Luke and Chase, what do y'all take away from game one of the Stanley Cup final? Carolina just has to be better, both on the defensive side and just being able to get well. I mean, they scored the puck well in game one. They just had to tighten up the defensive side today. They forecheck hadn't looked great, and they've got to be able to create chances offensively. But what do y'all take away?
I think this kind of I hate to say this, but we were kind of on Vegas. Oh, they're lucky. They're lucky. I think this is kind of showing that they're just clutch. And the fact that they were able to win that game one in Carolina, which have they lost a home game before that?
Yes, they got blown out by Montreal in game one.
Okay. Anyway, but they haven't lost very many in this playoffs. So
They've lost one. They've lost one game total in this playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Anyways, I mean, that is a very gritty win, and it worries me because I just don't want them to win, honestly. But I think it's going to be a really good series. I don't think this is going to be like a 5-game series. This is easily going 6 or 7, so I'm excited for it.
100%. Chase, what do you think?
I think Vegas has been really opportunistic this entire playoffs. You saw it earlier in the playoffs, winning a bunch of overtime games that they probably shouldn't have been in, and then they just got red hot. It continued. I mean, there was times in game one where Carolina was absolutely dominant. I mean, they were up 2-0 at a point. Vegas just came storming back every single time, and I think Resiliency is a huge thing in this playoffs. That's why I picked Vegas. Vegas on paper shouldn't be beating this Carolina Hurricanes team, but they're just red hot. They're playing the best hockey of the year, peaking at the right time. I think that this series, they're already up 2-0 tonight. I'd imagine that they close this series out. And I would, if I had to guess, I would probably say it's going to be in 5 or 6 games. I don't think this is going 7. I think that Vegas wraps it up. And I know, to your disgust, Will, another Vegas title is coming home.
Yeah, that would be pretty disgusting in my eyes. Let's talk World Cup. I'm going to let Chase take a hold of this segment.
All right, so the World Cup is actually actively, it starts in a week, kicking off in Mexico City at the Azteca with Mexico versus South Africa. So we're gonna give you our World Cup predictions for the group stage, so, and then we'll do our bracket predictions later on once the group stage is kind of completed, and we can kind of go through that and give even better analysis after seeing, a multitude of games throughout the group stage. But going into the tournament, a lot of these teams are still kind of unknown, just because of injuries and international availability. We haven't seen a lot of these teams play truly their full starting 11s going into this World Cup, and we probably won't until the opening game of these tournaments. So I just want to preface that. But we're gonna do our best to pick them as we see them. So in Group A, I'm kind of looking at Mexico to win this group. I think that they, out of all 4 teams in this group, are easily the most talented. They're led by a multitude of attacking options, with Raul Jimenez being he's better in the Mexico shirt than he is for Fulham, but he's very consistent for Mexico up top. Quinones has been great in Saudi Arabia, but really we got to talk about the midfield. Gilberto Mora, one of the best young players in the world, 16 years old. He's going to be absolutely fantastic and pivotal for Mexico in this tournament if they want to succeed. Obed Vargas is another name, the Alaskan, playing for the Mexico national team. Just made his move to Atletico Madrid, and he's been absolutely fantastic for them as well. They're going to need former players like Edson Alvarez to step up, and they've got to sort out goalkeeping, but I do think they have enough quality to get past the rest of the teams in their group, just considering that they're a lot better than everybody else. South Korea, they do have some talent and some pieces, but they're primarily led by Heung-min Son, who is up there in age and has not been on great form with LAFC, but they're still going to be good. I think Kim Min-jae, their center back, is going to have a good tournament and be pivotal, but I can see them eking out some wins over teams like Czechia and South Africa. Czechia, I have them in the 3rd place spot. I like Thomas Souček, and I think this European side is good enough to compete in games. But if you look at some of their recent form, barely eking out a win over Kosovo 2-1 in a friendly leading up to this tournament, doesn't instill a ton of confidence in you, considering that you've got to play South Korea and Mexico, teams that can beat you. And then South Africa, back in the tournament, I believe since the first time since 2010. Absolutely fantastic story. Would love to see them make a little run here. However, I don't think they have enough quality on the pitch to really compete with a solid European side and the best team in CONCACAF and one of the best teams in Asia. So I'm going with Mexico 1, South Korea 2, Czechia 3, and South Africa 4 in Group A. Group B, I feel like, is the easiest group on paper in this entire tournament. Switzerland is far and away the best team here. They're absolutely loaded. This was a team that went to, I believe, the quarters of the previous Euros, stuck in there with a bunch of teams. Like Bosnia didn't qualify for the last Euros. Qatar was terrible in the last World Cup and barely made it in this World Cup just because we expanded the tournament from 32 to 48 teams. And then Canada has been lackluster with the amount of injuries that Alphonso Davies has undertaken. But I think the Swiss clearly are the most talented squad here, and I think they go 3 for 3 and win this group on 9 points. I do think Canada finishes second. They're going to have a good home crowd vibe. Jesse Marsh is going to have the boys rolling. I think they finished in second. I think they handled both Bosnia and Qatar. But then I think Bosnia finishes in a 3rd place spot. They had a great run beating Italy to get into the tournament. I do think they ultimately will finish ahead of Qatar and finish in that 3rd place spot. Group C is kind of a tasty one. I think this is one of the tougher groups in the tournament. On paper, this Brazil team is again loaded as well, but the Brazilian national team has not been on great form over the last 4 years over the last cycle. Really missing a true leader. Neymar has obviously been off form for the last 4 years. He did make the roster a little bit surprisingly, but this Brazilian national team is really looking for a big tournament considering that they haven't really had any success since 2002. It's been a long time for the Kings of the World Cup, but I do think they finished first. They have so much attacking quality up front with Rafinha, Mateus Cunha, Vinny Jr. They're just absolutely loaded up top. And then I mean, you just go down the list. This Brazilian team is absolutely fantastic. Morocco, the surprise of 2022 World Cup, they made it all the way to the semifinals. They just controversially won the African Cup of Nations. That's still up in the air, them in Senegal. So don't really know for sure who won that, but this is obviously one of the best sides in the world, has continuously dominated in Africa. Achraf Hakimi is one of the best players in the world for sure at his position, but might be one of, the top 20 players in the world. Is fantastic right back, and this team just defends well. I think they're going to cause problems for both Scotland and Brazil. They conceded one goal on the way to the semifinals in the last World Cup. I kind of expect the same thing. They're gonna draw some games. I think they eke out close wins at the end. Just play really good, strong defensive football, and I think that's going to cause problems for Scotland and Haiti behind them. But I do think Brazil ultimately breaks through and wins the group. Scotland, I really like this Scots team. Andy Robertson and Scott McTominay, two fantastic guys. I mean, you want the Scotland team to do well. I think Jack McGlynn's going to have to step up and have a really good tournament. But outside of that, I mean, I think the Scotland team could surprise some people. I could see them beating a Brazil or a Morocco, or just, surprising a lot of people in this tournament just because of how good Scott McTominay's been in the Scotland kit. And then in fourth place of this group, I do have Haiti. I just don't think that they have enough juice coming from CONCACAF. Now,
elite spelling of Haiti, by the way.
What'd you say?
Elite spelling of Haiti.
Is it wrong?
Well, I mean, that's how it's spelled on Google.
Is it really? It's Haiti.
Well, that's Haiti. I mean, that's what they had. That's what they had on the Google list. That's how FIFA had it spelled. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah. We'll that may be a mistake on my part, but
Dude,
we can fact check that in a little bit.
We've already fact checked it.
Oh,
bet. Website. I'm rooting for you, Chase.
Bet. All right. Anyways, yeah, I just don't think Haiti has enough juice. I know the fans are coming over, and I've seen a lot of videos on the Haiti fans and everything, but I don't think that they really stack up next to the rest of the three in this group. But I do think Scotland is going to be one of the teams that will probably make it through to the round of 32, but we'll get to that in a second. Group D, headlined by USA and Turkey. I think the Americans, they've been spotty coming into this tournament for sure. Have had some really good windows, have had a really poor window, but if you take a look at their last probably 10 results post Gold Cup, when you've had all the players in the pool, they've really honestly only played two bad games against Belgium and Portugal, and a large part of the Belgium game looked really good. So I am cautiously optimistic about the United States going into this tournament. We've already seen them with a less talented squad beat Paraguay and Australia in the fall and lose to Turkey 2-1 without a lot of our best players. I do think that we probably draw with Turkey and beat Paraguay and Australia, but I'm just thinking that we will have a better goal difference than Turkey. It just really depends on how we defend. We looked fantastic going forward against Senegal, but we're going to have to defend really well. Turkey, I think they're absolutely loaded too. This is a team that could easily be a dark horse. Arda Güler has been fantastic for Real Madrid, looking like he's going to slot in well. Kenan Yildiz is another great young player, along with an experienced veteran like Çalhanoğlu and a bunch of role players all playing in Europe's Big Five leagues. I think this Turkey side could go pretty far in this tournament. Paraguay is obviously a very good common ball team. I think that they're missing a little bit of top end talent, but overall a very talented team. In Australia, they always perform above their pay grade at the World Cup, but this is one of the weaker Aussie teams that we have had in this tournament. They're missing the likes of like Tim Cahill and people like that they had in the past. But I think the Americans top this group on 7 points, Turkey on 7 points, Paraguay in the 3 to 4 point range, and I think Australia will finish on 1. And then we're looking at Group E now. I think this is Germany's group to lose. Germany has had two pretty poor Cups following their win in 2014. I think this roster is poised to have a better World Cup. Florian Wirtz, as poor as he's been for Liverpool, has been fantastic in the Germany kit. Um, I think that Julian Nagelsmann is a class manager and will have this team rolling. But I don't think that this group is going to be a walk in the park like a lot of people are making it out to be. I do think it'll be a little tough. Ivory Coast, as we've seen today, led by Amad Diallo and the wanted man across the world, Yan Diomande. I mean, they are going to cause a lot of teams problems with the pace up top. They'll defend well. I don't think it'll be enough to win the group, but I do think they finish second. Ecuador, they're aging. Valencia still had a great campaign in Liga MX, but I do think he's getting up there in age, and Ecuador is not what they used to be. But I will say Moise Caicedo is going to have a big tournament, which I would expect him to, and I think they'll finish third. And then Curacao, one of the smallest countries in this tournament, probably not going to get it done. Unfortunately, it's great to have him here, but they're not going to be doing anything big here. Group F, Netherlands, I think top this group. They have the best defense in this World Cup by far. If they can score a couple goals here and there, they're going to need Memphis Depay to have a big tournament with the loss of Xavi Simons. But the Netherlands always find a way to go far in every tournament. They were the Euro semifinalists, went to the quarters of the last World Cup. They're always in it. They have a fantastic defense, good goalkeeping, strong midfield. If they can score a couple goals, I think this Netherlands team is going to be tough to beat, but I do have them winning their group. Japan, on paper, is not one of the more talented teams in this tournament. However, they play some of the best team football in the entire world. They're known for their strict defending. They call it the blue lock. They're fine sitting back for 90% of the game, counterattacking the entire time. They're fine having 20% possession of the ball. We've seen it happen before. I think they just find a way to get results in this tournament, and they're so disciplined. You see it across all Japanese sports, really Japanese lifestyles, just the discipline. They play really disciplined, and it's a hard team to break down. So I do think Japan will get enough results to finish second in this group. Sweden, led by Victor Gyökeres, is going to have to he's going to have a massive tournament. If Gyökeres isn't scoring, the Sweden's top side is not going to make it out of the group. But I do think they make things interesting. Maybe can pull an upset here and there, but I think they end up finishing third. In Tunisia, I just don't think that they have enough compared to the other three teams. I believe this is the true group of death in this tournament, but I just don't think that Tunisia has enough to really compete with the other three teams in their group. Group G, I think this is, again, Belgium is head and shoulders clear of everybody else in this group. I think Mo Salah and Marmoush are going to have to play well for Egypt. Iran, we've seen them actually play decently, and with some of the motivation from the U.S.-Iran war, I expect them to, have a little juice coming into the tournament. And then New Zealand, probably one of, if not the weakest side in this World Cup. Don't really expect them to do anything, but I think Belgium should be able to handily win this group. I mean, it's just a free pass for them to the round of 32 after having a couple tough campaigns over the last couple World Cups. And then Group H, I think that it's really going to be. I think Spain, honestly, on paper, is the most talented team in the world. The way they play together, we saw them go to the Nations League final last year. Seen them win the Euros in 2024. Lamine Yamal is making the case for one of the best teenagers of all time. He's going to be fit and ready for the World Cup. Pedri's been fantastic in the midfield for Spain. They just have so many options. One thing that does concern me, they are missing a little bit of center back play, and they're missing a true number 9 up top, but I don't think that really matters the way they play. They're going to score goals. They're going to defend well. They play so well together. They play like a club team where a lot of these other teams play like national teams. So I think Spain wins this group. Uruguay has taken a couple steps back from the days of 2010 of Diego Forlán and Luis Suarez's, but I think that they still will perform well. I just a Uruguay squad is never going to lose to an American squad 5-1, where the American squad isn't even bringing a lot of their best players. So that's definitely cause for concern. But I do think that they finish ahead of Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. Cape Verde, the smallest country ever to make the World Cup. Super cool story coming out of
Great
Africa.
story.
Great story. I think they're going to ride that high and finish ahead of Saudi Arabia. The Saudis, I wouldn't overlook them, but I think that Cape Verde, just with the story, they'll find a place spot and hopefully make it out into that round of 32 because it would be just a fantastic story. And then lastly, we're getting to the end of this. Group I, France, Norway, Senegal, Iraq is how I have it in order. France, far and away, probably the most talented team in this tournament on paper. Their second team, their reserves, probably would be a top 5 team in this tournament as well. They have so much depth, but you've got to get that depth to play well, as we saw today with Ivory Coast. They didn't play super well, didn't gel. They didn't look like they gelled very much. But when you have a front three of Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, and Michael Olise, that's just going to be really tough to stop, especially when you have Desiree Doué and Ryan Cherky right behind them. And then I do think midfield depth is a bit of a question, but I do expect N'Golo Kante to have a good tournament across from Rabiot, and then the defense and goalkeeping is going to be fine. I think France got their African loss out of the way before the tournament. I was kind of looking at Senegal to maybe upset them just because they do have a lot of players from African colonies. Don't think that that's going to be a factor, though. I think France wins this group. Norway is, though, my dark horse of the tournament. I truly believe this Norwegian side is going to make a very deep run. They're led by the best goal scorer in all of world football with Erling Haaland. Martin Odegaard just went to the Champions League final and won the Premier League with Arsenal. And then you've got a bunch of good role players like Bodo Glimt, one of the stories of the Champions League this year, a small Norwegian team. They have a couple guys on the roster, made it all the way, I believe, to the round of 16 of the Champions League this year, which was fantastic. And then Senegal, for all their faults, they didn't defend super well against the United States, but their attack is still very potent. Sadio Mane looked great. Ilian Ndiaye will be good going forward. I mean, I think that this Senegal team is very slept on and is the best African team and was the African champions. This is gonna be a really tough group, and Iraq could pose a bit of trouble for some of these teams, but I do think this finishes France, Norway, Senegal, Iraq. Group J, they threw Argentina, the easiest group to get through on. They'll get through on 9 points. I think Austria will finish in second. They're a little bit better than Algeria and Jordan. Algeria and Jordan really just they have no chance of beating either one of these teams. They're two of the poorer teams in the World Cup. I would expect Argentina to probably rest a lot of their guys by the time they get to the third game because they're going to win by so much. And then looking at Group K, this is really a 2-horse race. Colombia had a great Copa America and a solid qualifying cycle, but Portugal, just coming off a Nations League win, they have the best midfield in the tournament, headlined by Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, João Neves, Ruben Neves. They have so many options in the midfield. Nuno Mendes and Joao Cancelo at outside backs, they're just loaded. They're loaded all over the pitch. And when you have the greatest player of all time leading the line up front in Cristiano Ronaldo, anything can happen. So I think Portugal should win this group. Colombia's in second. Luis Diaz is going to have a big tournament coming off a good season with Bayern. I expect that he does. James Rodriguez always turns up in the Colombia kit, so I'd like to see that as well. DR Congo, I actually think, is a sneaky team in this group, though. I think that they could pull maybe a draw off Colombia or Portugal. They're a little bit slept on. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is one of the better defenders in the world, and I think that this DR Congo side, with the additions that they got going into this tournament from some previous guys linked to other nationalities, is going to help them. Jan Wissa is going to have a big tournament up top for them. And then Uzbekistan, don't think they really stand a chance in this group. It's going to be pretty tough for them. And the last group, finally, I've got England topping Group L. I think they're far and away the most talented team in this group. It's not really close. Thomas Tuchel did make some questionable selections when selecting the England squad, but the top 11 guys that will be starting and playing most of the minutes, I do believe, are the best 11 that England could put out. England went undefeated in World Cup qualifying. The only other team to do that was Norway. England looked fantastic. I think they win this group pretty handily. Croatia always turns up in the World Cup, but this is a side that is aging and aging fast. Luka Modric still looks like he's 25, still playing great football, but he's getting up there in age. And they're going to have to rely on some younger players to get it done. And I don't know if that necessarily happens, but I do still think they finish second. Ghana will have a good tournament and should edge out Panama. Panama losing their best player to injury, so I have Ghana in third, Panama in fourth. And then my third place qualification teams, I've got Scotland going through, like I said previously. Scott McTominay um, is a fantastic player, and he turns up in the Scots jersey. I'd love to see Scotland in the round of 32. Paraguay, I think, just because of how even the US's group is with Turkey and Australia, I think all these teams can beat each other. So I got my third place team being Paraguay. I think that they can get through off points. Ecuador definitely should be able to get through based on the other third place teams and their quality. Sweden, I think that they can beat teams like Japan and the Netherlands and take points off them. So I do foresee them to get through. Iran, I think that they're going to have a lot of juice. Like I said, just this whole political tension and everything going on, they're going to want to play well, and I think they're going to be able to do that. And then I got Senegal going through as well. I think that they're going to be the best third place team that goes through. They're just in one of the toughest groups. And then Bosnia and Czechia are kind of the case of their group is very even, so I think they can pick up points and get enough points needed to qualify for that third place spot.
All right, I guess it's my turn now to take the stage for the World Cup. Go ahead.
I like how this is going because you're going to get analysis, solid analysis, then me.
Let's start off with Group A. First, Mexico. I mean, they're getting home field advantage throughout most of this tournament. Physical midfield led by Edson Alvarez. And this is a team that just has a very strong tournament pedigree. They've been in the World Cup time in, time out. This is a team that knows how to play on the world stage. They can struggle, though, to break down defensive teams, and they do really rely on Santiago Gimenez for goals. But I do have this team finishing first in Group A. Then comes South Korea, who I have finishing second. They have excellent transition attack, a really high work rate, and they press well on the ball. They are dangerous on the counter. Yes, Son Heung-min, who used to play for Tottenham, he is aging, but I believe in Son. He is an absolute legend for the Spurs. Also, Lee Kang-in is not a guy that you can just brush away for South Korea, and he could absolutely be a factor for this Korean team in Group A. I think these are a clear cut 1-2. I think it is yeah, pretty straightforward. Czechia I have coming in third. This is one, really a lack of belief in South Africa, but two, I think you really do have to tip your cap at Tomas Susek and Patrick Schick. I think there's two very quality fit players for Czechia that will be able to eventually, essentially get them a win over South Africa, who I think will be the doormat, the fourth place team in Group A. Unless someone like Teboho McKenna truly pops out, I just don't see this South African team doing much at all. So points wise,
this ball knowledge.
Yeah, we did a little bit of research. I do think Mexico and South Korea draw. To be honest with you, I think Mexico is very apt to drop points in a game on paper that they should win. So I do have it 7-7 for Mexico and South Korea. I have Czechia getting 3 points over South Africa, who will have none. Group B, this may be a shock. I think Canada will finish first in Group B. Slightly biased, yes. I do count on Alphonso Davies being ready to play by game 2. I think that'll be crucial for the fact that Canada, that is the case. But even if not, they have Jonathan David. They have elite youth coming through this Canadian soccer program. They play at a very fast pace. They're one of the fastest teams in this tournament in terms of just top speed on sprint. And then again, I love dangerous counterattack teams when it comes to the World Cup. Teams can kind of get lulled to sleep towards the middle of the game. I think Canada will be able to, use this to their advantage. Yeah, they do have a lot of defensive inconsistency for sure and very limited World Cup experience. However, they're getting to play these games on Canadian soil. The Canadians are super stoked for this opportunity to show that they are here to announce themselves at the world stage when it comes to soccer. I've got them finishing first with 9 points. I think they sweep the group. I do have Switzerland coming in second in 6 points. I think this is a very, very good Swiss team, as we saw in the Euros and as Chase highlighted. This is a team that really is organized. They rarely beat themselves. They rarely make any mistakes. They are really strong in their midfield control, and they have very good players like Granit Xhaka, Emmanuel Ankaja.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm totally butchering these names, but
Akanji, but
they have
yes.
great depth. Is really what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
But a real lack of a true superstar, in my opinion, when it comes to Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
They should really handle the rest of this group. I do think they get 6 points. I would not be shocked again if the way I see this group, if either maybe even Canada or Switzerland draw to a potential Bosnia and Herzegovina, who is my favorite story of this World Cup. Screw Cape Verde. The Bosnian song about coming over to America it has gotten me all sorts of fired up. Let's talk about their actual team, though, for a second. This is a Bosnian team that obviously has no superpower, but they do play with a lot of heart. They are decently on, not decent on the defensive, and they can show promise in the counterattack. I think they do beat Qatar probably 2-0. And I think they will score goals against both Canada and Switzerland. I think it's a Bosnia team that, yes, very small nation in the Baltics in Europe that may be overlooked by a team like Canada or Switzerland that they probably should be paying a little bit more attention to. And then you have Qatar. Yeah, I mean, very technical midfield. And this is a team that has been held mostly together in their core group for years now. But I mean, they just there's a very big athleticism gap between them and the rest of these countries. So I do have Qatar finishing last, getting unfortunately no points. Let's move over to Group C now, where we have obviously Brazil finishing in first. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Endrick. This is a very solid Brazil squad. They probably have the most talented attacking group in this tournament. They have incredible depth. There are players on this pitch for Brazil that can win the match for them at any point in time. Are there weaknesses? Of course. They have occasional defensive lapse, and they have a lot of expectation on them. So there is going to be immense outside pressure. However, I do have Brazil getting 7 points in this Group C. This is where it gets interesting. I technically, on points, would have a tie between second and third between Scotland and Morocco. Excuse me. I do have Scotland getting 5 points. I have Morocco getting 5 points. I think Haiti will finish with nothing. I think, like Chase has highlighted with Scotland, I am in love with Scott McTominay. This dude is absolutely electric for the Scottish. Also, I am not Scottish, and I tear up when I hear their national anthem played on bagpipes in front of those extremely passionate fans who have been waiting years for successful football on the pitch over in Scotland. I do think that their physicality and their discipline, and especially how dangerous they are on set pieces, will be able to beat Morocco on terms of goal differential. And speaking of Morocco, they have elite fullback play. They have elite defense. They probably have the best defensive organization outside of Europe. They are probably the best team in Africa, I could say, on paper. I mean, they have, Hakimi, Amrabat. I mean, they have elite players on Morocco's side. This is not a weak Morocco side at all. I'm not trying to discount them at all, and I could be completely wrong. I wouldn't be shocked if Morocco won the group, if Brazil crumbled under all these expectations. But the way I see it, I think Scotland is so overdue for some success in the World Cup, so I have them finishing in third on goal differential, and then Haiti, kind of a non-factor. I mean, last time I said that about someone, I'm pretty sure it was in the regionals, and they ended up winning it in Little Rock. So, I mean, there is that, but and Haiti does have some depth and experience, but they have no depth and experience, excuse me, but they do have some pace and energy. They're going to have the fans there. They'll be an entertaining watch probably for the first 15 to 20 minutes of games where you think they could pull something off. However, in the latter stages, I think they'll be dominated by completely superior sides of Brazil, Scotland, and Morocco. Over to Group D, we have our Americans. They will obviously finish first on home soil. I'm extremely excited for this United States squad with Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Antonio Robinson. This is a very exciting time to be an American who watches soccer. This is a very deep squad. They're very dangerous in transition, as most Americans' athletic teams are. They're extremely athletic across the entire roster. Are we going to be consistent against disciplined opponents? We will have to find out. However, I do think this is an American team that will sweep this group and get 9 points. Turkey, obviously the second best team in this group. They have tons of young talent, very creative on the attack. They have guys like Arda Güler, Kenan Yildiz, I believe, Yildiz.
Yildiz.
Yildiz, anyway. They just lack a little bit of defensive discipline, and I think they are going to allow for counterattacks and a lot of pressure to be put on their goalkeeper, and I think that will come back to bite them, especially against the Americans. I disagree with you. I agree with you, but I disagree with you. Australia always finds a way to do something on the world stage. They really do. And
They
that's
do.
kind of basically what I'm putting this off on. Yes, they have lost a lot of their veteran leadership on that squad. However, this is a team that plays with a lot of physicality. And you know how those Aussies are. They do band together and they are a true team unit. Harry Suter is a guy I want to highlight for Australia. I think he's going to have to come up big if they want to
Dog.
have any sort of chance of coming out of this group. I do have them finishing in third with a win over Paraguay, who I think will come in last. I think goals are just going to be very hard to find for this Paraguay team. Yes, they're going to lock
Agreed.
teams up defensively. They have a very physical midfield. Miguel Almiron is a solid player for Paraguay, but I do think it's going to be a lot of 1-0 losses in this group for Paraguay, 2-0, 1-0. I think that they are just going to have a
Agreed.
very big problem scoring goals, even at the group stage level. And if they made it through, it would just be kind of a non-factor. Let's move over to Group E now, where obviously the Germans are going to top my group. They have an elite midfield talent. They are very strong in the possession game. I mean, one player that I would like to highlight is Florian Wirtz. I mean, he is an absolute dog on this German squad. Yeah, their finishing can disappear in big moments. However, I am still big on this German team to sweep the group with 9 points. We saw a lot of Ivory Coast today, beating a French team that did sub out some guys, but it was very promising for the Ivory Coast. However, I do have Ecuador coming in second. There is just such a young athletic team that is very aggressive in their offensive pressure. Finishing can be a problem for this Ecuadorian team. However, I do think they're going to be able to put balls in the net and will finish in second with 6 points. I think the Ivory Coast is going to come in third. I do not think they will be, as you'll see, one of the teams that goes through. But Cote d'Ivoire has very physical power there, dangerous in transition. Sebastian Haller is someone I would absolutely like to highlight for the Ivory Coast. I could very easily see them drawing with Ecuador potentially, but I do think they will draw with Curacao, who I will have coming in last based on goal differential. They just have an extreme lack of depth other than Leandro Bacuna. I think this is just a Curacao team that is not exactly poised to make a run in this World Cup. Group F, we see it the same way. The Dutch. These fans travel in droves. They are a perennial powerhouse at the World Cup. They have elite defense. They're very flexible with their tactical abilities if they face something that maybe they weren't necessarily expecting or if something's not working at the time. We got to talk about Virgil van Dijk. We've got to talk about Memphis Depay. I mean, this Netherlands, this orange squad is going to be poised to win Group F. However, I didn't think they do it on goal differential. I think they're going to draw with my second team in the group, which is Japan. This Japanese team has been a perennial World Cup team. They have a lot of just absolutely clinical discipline when it comes to the sport. I mean, they are just so technically clean. They do have an excellent pressing system, but they lack. I mean, as a lot of not to be stereotypical Japanese, but I mean they just lack a little size and physicality, and that could come back to bite the Japanese. But Koro Matsuoka, Takafusa Kubo, this is going to be a very dangerous Japanese team in this World Cup. Sweden. Wish it was my Polish boys playing here. It's not. I think Sweden will come in third, just based off a lack of anything from Tunisia, who I think will come in last. I think if they can, Sweden will be a threat if they can get better in terms of their defensive pace. If not, they're going to get blown by on their back line, and it'll become a problem for the Swedes. Obviously, they have an elite player in Victor Gyökeres, but it's not going to be enough to become top two in the group elite celebration as well. Group G, I've got Belgium coming in first. Yes, this is a aging Belgian team. However, there's nothing else in this group that really pops off in my mind that could take the number one overall spot. Egypt could beat anyone if Mo Salah gets hot. I just don't think it'll happen. I have them coming in second. Again, Chase, I kind of agree with you that this Iranian team is going to be playing for a lot. I just don't know if it's the most talented Iranian squad when matched up against teams like Belgium and Egypt, so I do have them coming in third. New Zealand kind of sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. They got in based on this expanded format. They're going to be a very, very physical underdog. I just don't see much coming out of this New Zealand team, and I don't think they even get a point. In Group H, I have Spain coming in first. This is an elite Spanish team, guys. It's the most complete young squad in the tournament. I mean, now Lamine Yamal, a little bit of a red flag, getting hurt, and we'll see how that comes to fruition in this World Cup. I've got Uruguay coming in second. I mean, this is a midfield monster team led by Federico Valverde. This is a Uruguay team that is not the Uruguay we are expecting to know or have come to know over the last 20 years we've been alive. However, it is still a dangerous squad, and they still could strike at any moment. I disagree with you. I think this is a very talented Saudi team. They are very disciplined. They have been together for a long time. They have performed well in tournaments like the Gold Cup. I think they are absolutely going to take care of business against Cape Verde, and I honestly think they're going to draw against Uruguay. I think this is a better Saudi team that you gave them credit for. And then, unfortunately, I do have Cape Verde coming in last. I think the magic fizzles out at some point for this smallest country in the World Cup. Over to Group I now. France. I mean, it's clear cut. This is an unbelievable French team. I do not think anyone could topple them in Group I unless Erling Haaland absolutely goes nuts, who I have coming in second with Norway. Senegal, they're athletic and physical, but I think they're only going to come in third. And then Iraq, they are, organized, they're resilient. They're a decent football squad out of that Asian Confederation, but I have them coming in fourth. Group J, Argentina, defending champs. They have tremendous experience. They're going to use that to press them forward to first place. And second, I have Austria, who is a team that has one of Europe's best pressuring attacks. Algeria is coming in third just based off a lack of anything from Jordan, but Algeria does have some dangerous attackers that could threaten Austria for that second place spot, and then Jordan coming in fourth. For Group K, I do have Portugal coming in first. I mean, they have the best player in the world currently, Cristiano Ronaldo. They have ridiculous depth at every position. This is a Portugal team that'll be poised to potentially make a run at winning the entire thing. But don't sleep on this Colombian team, who I have coming in second. They're one of South America's hottest teams right now. They are in tremendous form. I do believe this Colombian team could threaten Portugal for a point or two and maybe potentially steal for three. I agree with you, Chase. This Democratic Republic of the Congo team is probably on paper slept on by a lot of people, but they are extremely athletic and dangerous. They have gotten those players from those other nationalities to come join their side. I think this DR Congo team also could threaten Colombia. And then Uzbekistan, again, kind of a non-factor for me as well. Group L is my group of death. I think these are four absolutely wonderful squads. If Panama had not lost their top player, I think it would have been the by far most dangerous group. But I have England coming in first. I mean, it's coming home, guys. Come on. 3 Lions. Harry Kane, baby. I could go on and on. Jordan Pickford's going to have a wonderful tournament for England. I have them coming in first. Croatia coming in second. This is a Croatian team that is aging, but is still just so technically brilliant, and they will be able to put balls in the net. Ghana, they're extremely explosive offensively. They're extremely athletic, quick on pace. I just don't think they will have the technicality to keep up with England and Croatia, so I have them coming in third. And then Panama just unfortunately got hurt at the wrong time, and I have them coming in fourth. Over to my teams that I think will qualify for third place. I have Czechia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Morocco, Australia, Sweden, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, and Ghana. I think all these teams will get essentially a second chance at life for the third place qualification, and we will have to see what they make of it. Luke, how do you see the World Cup going?
Excellent analysis.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so Group A, I'm going to go a little different here because obviously I have the most soccer knowledge out of this group. I'm great at pick'ems. I'm going to go with South Korea to win Group A. I don't think Mexico is very good. I've seen all my knowledge is TikTok based. I've seen that stuff saying Mexico is pretty bad and South Korea might be a sleeper. So South Korea is going to be my Group A winner with Mexico in 2, South Africa in 3, and Czechia in 4. For Group B, I've got Switzerland coming in 1, Canada, even though I don't think I really wanted to put Bosnia above Canada, but Canada's hosting, which will obviously, I think, play some factor. So I got Canada in 2, the Bosnia in 3, and Qatar, who I do remember from last World Cup being really bad. So they're going to be in 4 there. And then Group C, I've got...
Man, just threw a wrinkle, didn't you?
Yeah. I've got Brazil at 1. I saw Neymar take a picture, or someone take a picture of Neymar on a toilet. Thought that was pretty funny. Then I've got Hattie in 2. And I've got Scotland in 3 with Morocco coming in 4. And then in Group D, the USA is obviously winning. I will say the Turkey parade, or like they took them to the tarmac to fly out or whatever, was pretty sweet. There was a lot of people. The motorcade was awesome. But Turkey is going to come in 2. And then Paraguay, I think, will come in 3. And then Australia will just stay down under at number 4.
That was good. I appreciated that.
No, thank you.
Like that.
So Group B, I mean, the Germans, I think they should handle this group fairly easily. I've got Ecuador at number 2, and I think I'm saying Curacao. Curacao will end up somehow coming in 3rd, and then the Ivory Coast will just be in 4th. And then Memphis is going to lead this Netherlands team over Japan, and then obviously over Sweden and Tunisia. Sorry, guys. I didn't really go to college. So Group G, I do think Belgium will end up winning. I think Egypt has that really good guy.
Yeah, Mohamed Salah. Yeah.
Yep, I do know who that is. So they're going to come in 2nd. Iran will be in 3rd, and New Zealand will once again be down under. Group H, I've got Spain coming out on top. They're usually, I feel like, a perennial powerhouse in the soccer world. Same with Uruguay. I do kind of remember them, but I do know they're old, kind of like Argentina as like age-wise. And then I've got the Saudis coming in 3rd with the Green Cape coming in 4th.
That is how that translates. Good.
I know. All right. Eric Holland is the truth. I do Freybogs, everybody. I hate Kylian Mbappe. The dude looks like Kermit the Frog. So Norway's coming in 1st.
Actually looks like a Ninja Turtle. Have you ever seen like Michelangelo?
Yeah, he does.
He looks like a spitting image of Michelangelo, but yes.
Yes. Same difference. But yeah, I hate Mbappe. I signed the petition. Get him out of Real Madrid. So France will end up coming in
I
2nd.
can confirm he did sign this petition.
I love it.
So Iraq will end up being in 3rd. I think will be an explosive, shocking result going over Senegal. All right, and then in my Group K, I got Portugal. Is Cristiano Ronaldo healthy for this?
Yes.
He is.
Yes, he is
Okay.
healthy.
Well, then they will run through this group. He is one of the greatest, or a top 2 player of all time, depending on who you ask. Then I've got Colombia coming in at 2, and then Uzbekistan at 3, and the Congo at 4. So my Group J, I've got Argentina at 1 because I think Messi kind of suckered out FIFA last year, saying he was going to retire. So they gave him an easy group and an easy path, but obviously didn't retire. So now we're back. So I still got them winning this group. I've got Algeria coming in 2nd. I've got Austria coming in 3rd, and then I've got Michael coming in 4th. So my Group L, I did see something. I do think England's roster construction, like going sort of 19, like the Miracle on Ice sort of style, I think will benefit them instead of going with all of the powerhouses. I mean, it worked for the USM hockey, so way back when. So I do think they'll win Group L. Croatia will be my second place team finisher. I remembered the long-haired guy. I feel like he's been around forever. And then Panama, I didn't know the dude was injured. We'll still have him at 3rd, though. And then Ghana is coming in 4th. All right, Paraguay, or my 3rd place qualifications are going to be Paraguay, Panama again, I guess, Bosnia, South Africa, Iraq, Iran, and then Scotland and Sweden.
I love it. Oh, let's see what Mikey had. He had Mexico in 1st, South Korea in 2nd, South Africa in 3rd, and Czechia in 4th. In Group B, he had Switzerland in 1st, Canada in 2nd, Bosnia in 3rd, and Qatar in 4th. Group C, he had Brazil in 1st, Scotland in 2nd, Morocco in 3rd, Haiti in 4th. In Group D, he had the U.S. in 1st, Paraguay in 2nd, Turkey in 3rd, and Australia in 4th. Moving on to Group E now, he had Germany in 1st, Ecuador in 2nd, Cote d'Ivoire in 3rd, and Curacao in 4th. In Group F, he had Netherlands in 1st, Sweden in 2nd, Japan in 3rd, Tunisia in 4th. Group G, he had Belgium in 1st, Egypt in 2nd, Iran in 3rd, New Zealand in 4th. Group H, Spain in 1st, Uruguay in 2nd, Saudis in 3rd, Cape Verde in fourth. Moving on now to Group I, he had France in first, Norway in second, Iraq in third, Senegal in fourth. Group J, Argentina, Austria, Algeria, and Jordan in that order. Group K, Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. He did not flip the flags in that order. And then
Fine.
Group L, England, Croatia, Panama, and Ghana in that order. And third place qualifications for Michael, he had Panama, Japan, South Africa, Iran, Morocco, Turkey, Uzbekistan, and the Saudis. That concludes our World Cup preview as we now head to DQS Solutions and Staffing 250 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We're heading to Michigan. You know who's from Michigan? My boy, riding the Dente, Carson Hocevar. He is going to win the Craftsman Truck Series race in Michigan this weekend at the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. Chase, you agree with me?
I do. I mean, all you had to tell me was one of my favorite drivers, Carson Hocevar, was racing at home in Michigan. He's going to get it done for the home fans, especially in a trucks field that is not as stacked as maybe the Cup Series is. I expect Hocevar to get it done this week.
Luke, who did you take?
So I'll continue my tradition of actually picking a true truck driver, and I'm gonna go with Gio Regario. He's fifth in the rankings for the trucks.
Yeah, he's
this
had a
year.
damn good season. Yep.
So he's 19 years old too. He's a super young guy. I think he hadn't got a win yet this year, and I think this could be a spot where he gets one.
Over now to the Firekeepers Casino 400 in Michigan. Again, I'm riding the Dente. Carson Hocevar going to go with the weekend sweep at home. Storybook ending. They're going to burn down multiple Chili's in the Michigan area on Sunday and on, I believe it's a Saturday race for the trucks. Very excited for this weekend. Michigan's a great track. They go very fast, I think up to 208 miles an hour, which is insane for a non-super speedway. So give me Hocevar to win. Luke, going to the bell.
I am. I think Christopher Bell, after last week, kind of a disappointing finish, not being able to win that race. I kind of think he's going to end up winning this race this week. He's going to kind of get his first win this year. Hadn't had a win since 2025. I think he's due. He's one of the better racers. Only thing that does worry me is we see a lot of issues with his pit crew.
Yep.
So if his pit crew could have a good day, I think he can win this race, but it's all going to be dependent on him.
Chase, going with Old Faithful.
Old Faithful, the best driver in NASCAR this season, hadn't picked up a win. I believe it's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks, guys.
It's only been a couple weeks. He's due. It's going to happen. I've got Tyler Reddick winning this week.
Now, as we end every weekday episode, who's hot and who's not? My hot is Chili's. One, because Carson Hocevar is totally going to win this weekend. Two, Carson Hocevar has been on fire in NASCAR and on social media, and he is sponsored by Chili's. Their social media has been popping off as well as a result of that. Three, Shane Gillis sat courtside last night for the big Spurs game in a Chili's t-shirt. Chili's is up right now. I also love Chili's. So Chili's is my hot.
Triple dipper.
Yeah, dude, triple dipper. Oh, dude, I love their salsa. I think their salsa is up there with any Mexican restaurant. It is so fresh and crisp. I love it. My not is the NFL wide receiver market. This Packers signing of Christian Watson has screwed NFL teams for trying to re-sign wide receivers. Maybe it's a wide receiver 2 that could be a wide receiver 1, that is paired up with a really good wide receiver 1 who's a little bit more on the, edgy side of things, maybe wears a shiesty every game. It screws that team really bad. I hate that for that team. This really screws us, dude. I mean, this contract screws our George Pickens situation. So my nod is the NFL wide receiver market. If a guy like Christian Watson can sign for $27 million a year, there are going to be some expectations with these agents and these wide receivers out there. That is my not. Luke, what's hot and not?
My hot is I saw Backrooms last night. I don't like horror movies, but I decided to kind of nut up and go watch it. Really creepy. If you like kind of like just, I don't know. I was on edge the whole time because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was a good movie. I had no issues with it, but just branching out on my horizons in the movie specter of things. And also the director in that movie is 20 years old.
No, that's pretty
So
dope.
they built, I did see a few things too. They built most of the set to scale. They didn't use a bunch of green screens. They built everything. So it was a really impressive project. The guys started on YouTube with it. So we're kind of seeing some of these younger directors in horror kind of take the forefront with whoever the dude is that directed Obsession. So yeah, and then my not is I got 2.5 hours of sleep last night.
As a result of said horror movie.
As a result, and I went to sleep. I took a 5-minute nap while Will was reading his World Cup stuff. I am really tired. I don't recommend going to work on 2.5 hours of sleep. I really don't recommend doing anything on 2.5 hours of sleep, but that is my not.
Jace, what's hot not?
I actually want to give a shout out to Texas softball, who just won their back-to-back national championship while we were on the podcast, beating Texas Tech. They can play us anytime, any place. They're even worse than little brother Texas A&M. Football, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, y'all
Congrats
won't
to
let them pay him
Texas
out.
softball. I know, but they want to be A&M so bad. They want to be one of Texas's rivals, and they're just not. And they got showed. They had their $1 million pitcher. Hey, they had their $1 million pitcher pitching tonight, and she gave up 4 runs. I think two were off airs, but it doesn't matter. Texas is back-to-back national champions in softball. Soon to win their first title with Jim Schwarzenegger in college baseball too. It's happening. Book it right now. I already got our Women's College World Series softball picks right.
Yeah, I
so,
did totally clown
anyways,
for picking Texas on both of those, and he got it right on the softball.
I got the runner-up, I think.
Yeah,
right.
and baseball's coming too.
I had Texas. I had Texas in some more fashion.
Anyways, for my real hot, we haven't talked about. Me and Luke hadn't really talked. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have.
If you guys have seen it yet, but I actually really enjoyed Mandalorian and Grogu. I know it's got some negative reviews, but I thought the score was absolutely awesome. It was just a really fun movie. It wasn't a movie that you had to know a bunch of lore to go in and enjoy. Cool characters. The Mandalorian's badass. Grogu and the Anzelians are funny. I thought it was a good movie, and I'm definitely gonna watch it again. And then my nod is the Browns QB room. I don't know how they sort this out. I've seen a lot of stuff coming out of there that, it's a three-way job now that Dylan Gabriel's in the mix with Shadur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Deion Sanders is flying down to meet with Todd Monken, the Browns QB coach, to talk about Shadur. I mean, I don't really know. The Browns insiders act like Shadur Sanders has the inside track on the job, and I would really like Shadur to win it and maybe prove people wrong based off of last season. But I just think this QB room is going to be probably the worst in all of football this year, maybe outside of the Tennessee Titans with Cam Ward. But it's a bad look right now but it's nothing the Browns aren't used to.
100%. Well, that'll do it for episode 66 of Swiss Army Sports. This has been Will, Luke, and Chase. Until Monday, when we break down all this weekend's action and we have a College World Series show to talk about. Have a good night.